what an exciting place this is for a race, and Ricochet is really heating up this race course right now. That 26-foot Seahawk, powered by two 245 horsepower Mercury outboard motors, is really being put through the paces here today by Ken Leahy from Grand Haven, Michigan, who's your owner and throttle man, and driving today is Jim Tyler from Muskegon, Michigan. So Tyler and Leahy making up the Ricochet race team, and they're really ricocheting around this race course right now. Very good ride right here, and this Lake Michigan can be gentle, but it can be rough, and right now it is really putting the boats through the paces, as you can see. The Ricochet race team. Already in 1991, the Ricochet race team took a 3rd place in the Muskegon race and a 6th place at Lake St. Clair, thus putting them in the 8th place position overall in the national points of the Great Lakes region. However, there are so many boats bunched up in the middle of the Sportsman B division that a good finish here for Ricochet will really help them out in the overall standings. And right now they're running 1st place in class right now, and they're looking extremely strong. Just look at this race boat propel itself over the waters right here. Excellent attitude, and they're doing a very fine job. We wish Ken Leahy and Jim Tyler all the best here today in Chicago. They would like to extend some thanks to Budweiser, Ackenoff Realty, and Large Moving Storage for the help that they've given this team in some sponsorship. You saw that jump right there. Ricochet is really having a hard ride right now. However, they still are in the lead in class, and it is going to be a rough ride today over those 66 statute miles. But Ricochet is up to the test, and they're really moving nicely throughout this course. Now we come up on B17, the Desperado race team. This is a 33-foot fountain racing hull powered by two 420 horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Mercruiser outdrive. This boat is owned by Joe and Sandy Penix from Toledo, Ohio. Joe does the driving. On throttles, we've got Greg Garrison from Toledo, Ohio, and your navigator is Randy Eastwood, also from the Toledo, Ohio area. The Desperado race team, and they are having a relatively successful campaign. Already for 1991, they're 4th overall in total points for the Great Lakes Division, and they've compiled that with the following results. They took a 10th place in the Monroe race, which was followed up by a very good run in the 3rd place in Lake St. Clair, and at Lorraine they took a 4th place. So they have built on their first 10th place finish, and this is thus putting them in the 4th place overall in the points. So they would really like to have a good showing here in Chicago to put them in a top 3 position in the Offshore B division. And this boat looks very strong right now. The competition is extremely tough in B division. We already saw Ricochet, and they look like very tough competition. But personally, this Desperado boat is dialed in quite nicely. It has a good attitude here in the water, and I think this boat is going to give Ricochet a run for the money here today. They look just as strong, and they're going to try to make up some ground right now between themselves and Ricochet. From Chicago, Illinois, it's the Desperado race team. Nice job of throttling right there. Really starting to pick up the rhythm and the speed right now. This boat is moving quite nicely. Now we come up on another B boat. It's B28, the Joanna race team. It's a 36-foot fountain racing hull powered by two 420 horsepower Mercury inboards with TRS outdrive. This boat is owned and throttled by Bruce Sperling of Palos Heights, Illinois, and navigating today is Donald Cooper from Orlando Park, Illinois. The Joanna race team, these is a rookie team, and they're having a very good run right now in their local waters here in Chicago. They'll be dueling most of the day, I'm sure, with Desperado, Ricochet, Catnip. The competition is tough in B, but this group really seems to be up for it. Although they're rookies, they have a very good racing hull. That fountain racing hull is a proven race boat, and with those two 420 horsepower Mercury inboards providing the power plant, this boat is certainly one to be reckoned with. Sperling and Cooper seem to be very comfortable in their boat right now, and I think they're going to be right there at the finish also. From the shores of Chicago, Illinois, it's the Joanna race team. With the run that they're having right here, I'm sure we'll be seeing Sperling and Cooper in the Joanna race team throughout the rest of 91. They look very tough right now, and we'd love to see them throughout the rest of the races here in the Great Lakes region. Now we come up on a battle that's been raging throughout the year. Both competitors acknowledge each other, and now we're set to battle. It's Kenzo on the inside, Wave Hippie on the outside. This battle has been going on since the very first race in Muskegon, and it is going on right here off the shores of Chicago. Let's highlight this battle. Kenzo on the inside has had a great year. He's taken a second place in Muskegon, a second place in Monroe, a fourth place in Lake St. Clair, and a first place in Lorraine, putting him with a total of 365 points for a second place overall in the Great Lakes region. This has been countered by Wave Hippie's very good runs also. He had a first place finish in Muskegon, a first place in Monroe, a first place in Lake St. Clair, and a third place in Lorraine, giving him a total of 396 points. So with some quick arithmetic, there is 1 point separating Wave Hippie on the outside, Kenzoil on the inside, and right now in Lake Michigan, off the shores of Chicago, Illinois, this battle continues to wage on. And we've really got a battle going right now. Kenzoil on the inside. It's a 28-foot Magnum, powered by two 260-horsepower McFadden inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drive. This boat is owned and throttled by Ken McMartin of Richmond, Michigan. Rick Lash from Warren, Michigan is your driver. And navigating today is Leanne Abel from Port Huron, Michigan. Ken McMartin, what a year he's having, and they're having an excellent run right now in Chicago. Kenzoil, and what a boat this is. And we know it's going to go right down to the wire in A division between Kenzoil and Wave Hippie. Now we come up on Wave Hippie. This boat, another tough boat. It's a 28 offshore racing boat powered by two 450 horsepower Chevy inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drive. This boat is owned by Kinky Sonnevelt in Spring Lake, Michigan. Driving today, we've got Lance Sonnevelt from Grand Haven, Michigan. Mac R. Kinky from Spring Lake, Michigan is your throttle man, and navigating is Doug Papa from Grand Haven, Michigan. What a team this has been, headed up by Kinky and Sonnevelt of the Wave Hippie race team. And they are a very strong team. They're running 1-2 right now with themselves and Kenzoil, who just earlier on, and I guarantee you from watching these two boats, it's going to go right down to the finish line for first place in A division. They would like to just thank their sponsors, Valaka Racing Engines, Magnum Packaging, and Quality Great Lakes Casters. They would like to give a very special thanks to Jim Valaco for everything that he's done, and to everyone who donates their time to make these races happening and ensuring Wave Hippie a very successful 1991 campaign. As you can see, this boat is dialed in exceptionally well right now. Navigator lining them up for the next checkpoint, and this boat is on a course for the checkered flag and probably an end battle with Kenzoil, who we just saw earlier on. The Wave Hippie race team having an excellent run here today, as they always have throughout 1991 in Chicago, Illinois. That was Catnip that they just passed. And there you see, once again, that battle going on. Kenzoil on the inside, Wave Hippie on the outside, and you have less than a boat length separating these two between first and second place. I'm sure this one will be going right down to the wire. It's virtually dead even. Kenzoil Wave Hippie really putting on a show for the spectators, and I'm sure the adrenaline is flowing in all of these race crews. Kenzoil starting to take stretching out his lead right now over Wave Hippie, but certainly not a threat to Wave Hippie because he knows what it takes. He knows what he has, and he certainly knows what Kenzoil has. These are hardened competitors, true tested. And there you see Wave Hippie making his move on the outside. It gets no better than this. Offshore powerboat racing put on by the APBA. It gets no better than this out here on the shores of Lake Michigan. Now we're going to come up on B84, the Catnip Race Team. It's a 23-foot eliminator racing hull powered by a single 450 horsepower Chevrolet inboard motor with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned and throttled by Greg Denboer of Kentwood, Michigan, and Mark Pressler from Grant, Michigan is your navigator. The Catnip Race Team, and they've had a relatively successful 1991 campaign. They got the year started off with a first place in Muskegon. They took a fourth place in Monroe, and that put them in an overall fifth place position in the points of the Great Lakes region. So they would like nothing more than to have a good finish here to move them up in the standings. And they're dueling with Joanna, Ricochet, Desperado, amongst some of the other boats. Catnip seems to be dialed in very well right here. He's got a catamaran hull where most of the boats we've been seeing before are deep V's. The deep V's can certainly do a little better here in the rough waters, but the Cats are also a proven hull in these rough racing conditions. But this boat is only 23 feet. It is a Cat, and he's going to take a little more of a pounding than some of your V-bottom boats. But nonetheless, these two are true competitors, and they know what it takes to win a race here in the Great Lakes region. From Chicago, Illinois, it's the Catnip Race Team.